We're going to talk about the criminal trial of President Biden's son, Hunter, on gun charges. It's underway in the US state of Delaware. It's the first prosecution of the child of a sitting president in US history. Hunter Biden denies all three charges, which relate to his purchase of a handgun back in 2018. Well, a short time ago, President Biden released a statement on his son Hunter's trial. I am the president, but I am also a dad. Jill and I love our son, and we are so proud of the man he is today. Hunter's resilience in the face of adversity and the strength he has brought to his recovery are inspiring to us. A lot of families have loved ones who have overcome addiction and know what we mean. As the president, I don't and won't comment on pending federal cases, but as a dad, I have boundless love for my son, confidence in him, and respect for his strength. We can speak to our North America correspondent, Tom Bateman, who's outside the court there in Delaware. Hi, Tom. So what's been happening there?
Well, what we've had is the start of the trial in the form of jury selection so far this morning. A very large pool of people we saw queuing outside for the first hour or so. I was on the press benches in the courtroom, sitting a couple of benches behind the First Lady, Jill Biden, who has been there so far all morning, and she is just a metre or so away from President Biden's son, Hunter Biden, sitting with his defence team. As those proceedings got underway, he turned briefly and glanced towards the First Lady. He's been following proceedings extremely closely, for example, turning sheets of paper over on the questionnaire numbers as the judge takes some of those potential jurors through a screening process. And this is effectively to try to screen out any jurors that either defence or prosecution might believe could come with prejudicial views or bias. They're asked a series of questions, including about what kinds of news output they consume in the United States, and also critically, given the subject matter of the case, whether or not they have strong views on gun ownership and also on the issue of drug and alcohol addiction. So far this morning, we've seen one juror excused from the case because he said he had very strong Second Amendment views around the right to bear arms in the US. And when the judge asked him if that prevented him being impartial when it came to being a juror on this case, he said yes, he wouldn't be able to be impartial. And so he was excused from the case. Another potential juror said that she had very strong views that there should be stronger laws to curb gun ownership in the US. Now, perhaps surprisingly, the defense team of the son of a US president who's made clear his views about wanting stronger gun controls in the US, Hunter Biden's defense team were arguing that juror perhaps should be excused, shouldn't be able to sit on the case because she had particularly strong views that there should be stronger gun control laws in the US. So that becoming a recurring theme in the case now. We expect the jury selection to last perhaps a couple of days before the opening statements begin. And Hunter Biden, of course, as you say, denies those three felony counts relating to his purchase of a handgun here in Wilmington in 2018.
And Tom, what will be at the heart of this case?
Well, it will very much look at those moments that Hunter Biden went into a gun store here in Wilmington, Delaware, 5 years ago and purchased a .38 caliber revolver. Now, there are federal rules around buying guns, of course, and one of the forms that Hunter Biden filled in, he ticked a series of boxes to say that he wasn't a convicted felon and so on. But one of the questions asks whether or not the person purchasing the gun is an illegal user of drugs. And Hunter Biden ticked no to that box. Now, the prosecution alleges that that was a lie, that he knew at the time that he had a very serious drug addiction problem. Hunter Biden, for his part, has said publicly, and so has his father, spoken about his long battles with drug and alcohol addiction. But what the defense is going to argue here is that at the moment he ticked that box, that he didn't see himself as a drug addict. Now, they had wanted to call some expert witnesses in drug addiction. Last night, the judge ruled out some of their hopes for those expert witnesses. So we'll see, of course, how the case itself plays out on those arguments. The defence will also argue that they say for constitutional reasons, due to some relaxation of gun control laws by the Supreme Court in recent years, that that's another reason why this case should be struck off and dismissed, and that he shouldn't be found guilty of those charges.